Hi everyone. Today we're going to do a flow based on hips and low back, really kind of getting into a little bit of everything. We'll work on the quads, hip flexors, and hamstrings and glutes. So kind of that whole area. We'll go ahead and begin seated. So find just a comfortable seated position. That might mean one foot in front of the other, cross at the ankles, one leg on top, or even a full lotus position, whatever feels best for you. And then find somewhere where you can sit tall without a ton of effort. So that might mean elevating the hips, sitting on a block or a blanket or something of that nature. And then let the hands rest down. They can be palms down. Usually that feels a little bit more grounding. Or you can flip the palms upward. It feels a little bit more open and ready to receive. So find your position, whatever that looks like, and go ahead and close down the eyes. Take a few nice, long, slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. Using the breath in that way as a tool, again, for grounding, to become really present. At the same time, connecting with the way that the body is pressing into the floor. Depending on how you're seated currently, definitely the sitting bones connecting with the earth beneath you, and maybe the knees or the thighs. And take one more full round of breath. And then inhale, reach the arms up overhead, lengthen through the fingertips, but allow the shoulders to relax downward. On your exhale, come forward and down, just as you would for child's pose. Letting the forehead release toward the ground. Maybe you continue walking the hands further away. Maybe the elbows kind of splay wide so that the arms stay bent at the elbows. Forehead might touch the floor. Maybe you've even stacked your fists to give it something to rest on. Take two more full breaths here. And then walk the hands over toward the left side of your mat so that your forehead begins to drop toward your left knee, lengthening through the right side of the body. Come back to center, and with your next breath in, roll up to seated, nice and slow. Head can lift up very last, and then shrug the shoulders into the ears, roll them down the back, and pause here. Good. Go ahead and change the cross of the legs. So whichever is in front, take to the back, or top, take to the bottom. Sit tall here and take just a couple deep breaths. Maybe the eyes close back down so that you can pay better attention to what's going on inside. And then reach the arms as you breathe in, stretch tall, though relax the shoulders away from the ears. On an exhale, come forward and down. Same thing here. You may notice that there's more or less resistance on this side. Maybe the forehead drops down further, maybe you're up a little bit higher. Wherever you are, keep the sitting bones pressing down into the floor. So notice if you go so far that the back end begins to lift up off of the mat. Try and keep grounded through that and reach forward through the head and chest. Begin to walk both hands over to the right side of your mat. Forehead points toward the right knee, or in that general direction, lengthening through the whole left side body then. And again, arms can be as bent or as straight as you need them to be. And then come back through to center. And roll up to seated. Let the head again lift up. Last, the shoulders roll back and down, relaxing and sitting tall. Good. From here, let's come to tabletop. So we'll roll through a few rounds of cat-cow. You can always begin by inhaling and dropping the belly to the floor as the head and chest and tail end lift up. As you exhale, find cat pose, rounding the back, chin to chest, tailbone pulls under. And take just a few more as you start to really connect with the rhythm of your own breath. On your next breath in, whenever that happens for you, come back to a neutral spine. And then let's pause in child's pose for a few breaths. Knees can be close together or far apart, even all the way to the edges of the mat. Let your forehead rest on something. So again here, if it's not the floor, you can always fold arms, stack fists. If you've got a yoga block, convenient. You can take that underneath the forehead and just relax the back body. On your inhale, press back up to tabletop, and then let's find downward facing dog from here. Curling the toes under, lifting up and back, and take some movement in the legs. Start to work out the kinks in the body. You can even shake around the head or move through the shoulders and the neck. Just take a few breaths and a few moments to move really freely. On your next breath in, soften up through both knees and look to the hands. With your exhale, start to walk the feet forward to the top end of your mat. Let your whole upper body relax down over top of the legs with the knees at least softly bent. They can be further bent than that. That will just allow more length to come into the spine, especially if the low back or the hamstrings feel a little bit tight here. We'll give them an opportunity to slowly warm up, slowly lengthen out. Let the head hang and just shake it yes or no a few times, releasing through the neck. On your inhale, take a halfway lift. Hands here can come to shins or thighs as the spine grows long. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the ceiling, and then exhale, fold right back down to the ground. Halfway lift, inhale. Bring the hands to the mat and step the feet backward for plank pose, knees on or off of the mat. Just take a full inhale. And then with your exhale, we'll lower all the way to the floor. Breathing in, just the chest lifts up for a low cobra pose. The elbows squeeze to the rib cage and the toes reach backward. Press down into hands and knees up to tabletop once again. So let's inhale, drop the belly, cow pose just once. On exhale, we'll round through the back, chin to chest. Inhale, come through neutral spine, and make sure here, if they're not already, that the joints are really stacked. Wrist, elbow, shoulder, knee, hip. That will create a really sturdy foundation so that we're balanced as we inhale. Stretch the right leg backward and the left arm forward. Pull in tight through the belly. Good. And then here with your next exhale, elbow to knee, knee to elbow, round in. Inhale, stretch long. We're going to do 3 of those, so 2 more. Exhale. Inhale. Breathe out. Breathe in. And then take that left hand down, sweep that right leg all the way out to the right side of the mat, so straight out and away. It'll look like this. Yeah, and we'll place that right foot down onto the ground, and then let's lift up, reach both arms straight up towards the ceiling, and then with an exhale, fold forward, kind of how we did when we were seated. So maybe the hands just drop down, maybe you walk them out, you can come to the elbows. It's like a half of a wide-legged forward fold. We want to keep the spine nice and long, and we should start to feel a stretch through that inner right thigh. And then press back up to both hands and both knees. We'll take them in and together, finding down dog again. Tail up and back. Feet about hips width apart, hands about shoulder width, fingers spread wide, chest pressing back toward the thighs, even if you need to bend the knees a little bit. On your inhale, knees soften, look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top end of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and release. Inhale, reach arms up overhead. Exhale, clasp them at the low back. So we'll open up the chest a little bit. So knuckles reaching down, palms facing chest up, arms long. Exhale, soften the knees, chest toward the thighs, reach the arms up and away, head hangs low. Inhale, stand tall and reach back up. Exhale, forward fold, bow down over the legs. Halfway lift, lengthen out. Again, plank pose for an extra breath. Breathe in. Exhale, elbows bend to your own degree. So maybe halfway and hover. Chest lifts up. You can return to low cobra pose or find upward facing dog. And then drop to the knees if you're not there already. And we'll find tabletop. Again, creating that sturdy foundation with the joints stacked and the fingers spread wide. Let's again breathe in, cow pose. Breathe out, stretch the back body, cat pose. Inhale, come back to neutral. Again, just setting up. And this time we'll go back with the left leg, forward with the right arm. Keep the head in alignment with the spine and really pull in through the belly. So a lot of times we tend to sag or droop through the belly. We're so focused on lengthening out. Pull in. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Again, breathe out. And breathe in. Last one. Exhale. And inhale. Hand comes down, leg swings out to the side, and we'll set that down on the ground. And let's breathe in, reach up. Exhale and fold forward. We're going to lead with the chest, lengthen out through that left leg. And again, we'll go down as low as feels okay. Let's come back to tabletop and downward facing dog. On an inhale, soften the knees and look to the hands. And with your exhale, make your way to the top end of the mat. Halfway lift, breathe in. And exhale as you fold back down to the ground. Inhale, lift and lengthen. On an exhale, we're going to tuck the right knee up toward the chest. So with that, you can hold on to the underside of the thigh. Maybe you hold on to nothing. If it's accessible, go ahead and grab the shin and pull the knee up and in. So finding a little bit of balance here. Good, and then we'll find a quad stretch. So let's drop that knee down. The right hand will come back and grab hold of the right foot. Point the knee downward as much as that quad will allow. You want to feel it through the front of this right thigh. Left hand can come to the left hip, or maybe it even reaches back as well, grabbing hold of that foot. If so, squeeze the shoulder blades together, pulling the shoulders back so that the chest opens up. Good, and then we're gonna bring that right knee back up towards the chest. We're gonna leave it there as we inhale, reach tall, and exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in, and fold as you breathe out. Let's lift up tall, inhale. Exhale, take hands to the center of the heart. Go ahead and close down the eyes and take a moment here to get really grounded. Feel the soles of the feet press down into the mat beneath you. Come back to the breath. Maybe take a minute to just notice any sounds around you. Even any sensations in the body. Some days I find that with the eyes closed, standing in this way, I feel really sturdy. Today I feel like a breeze could blow me over. And then open up the eyes, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring that left knee up towards the chest. So again here, maybe not holding on, holding the underside of the thigh, or squeezing onto the shin and bringing it as close to the body then as you can. So with that, we'll grab hold, left hand to left foot. Right hand can go anywhere. We'll take that opportunity in a moment to maybe reach backwards. We'll point the knee down as much as we can so that the thighs are moving toward being parallel. So the more that we move in that direction, the deeper that stretch will become. Right? So there's no right or wrong or not far enough. We're going to where the leg allows. Maybe that right hand then reaches back and grabs hold of the foot as well. Shoulders back, chest lifted, shoulder blades together. And then bringing that left knee into the chest. We'll inhale, arms up, knee stays up. Exhale, both feet down and forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Hands to the mat. Let's step the feet backward, plank pose. And big breath in. Exhale, elbows bend halfway or all the way. Breathe in, chest lifts up, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, let's take down dog just momentarily. Take a big inhale here, fill up. And then exhale, let's come to the knees and find child's pose for about 3 breaths. And make your way back to downward facing dog. On your inhale, soften the knees and look forward. Exhale, travel forward to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, reach up. Same idea, exhale, right knee to the chest. Right hand to right foot, right knee drops down. This time left arm reaches up. You can stay here or move towards dancer pose, pressing that right foot into the hand as the knee shoots backward. The upper body moves forward, left hand stretching out in front of you. Again, you're welcome to, of course, stay fully upright with the left hand stretching to the sky. In either case, just working on balance. bringing that right knee back up towards the chest. Inhale, hands reach up. This time, right foot takes a little step backwards. Doesn't have to be huge. Maybe half of the length of the mat. Everybody's mats are a little bit different. Hips will stay pointed forward. Right toes still point as forward as we can. They'll angle out a little bit probably. Good, let's bring the hands to the center of the heart, and we'll exhale, hinging over top of that left leg. Feel like your chest is reaching to the left thigh, but also as if it's lengthening down towards the toes of that left foot. We're not gonna stay here for too long. Let's try and keep the hips squared off. Legs are long, but knees not locked. On an inhale, lift back up, both arms reach towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're gonna step forward onto the left foot, right knee to the chest. Inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, let's take a giant step backward with the right foot. Hands will go to the ground as we find this low lunge. Sinking through the hips, spinning the left arm up into the air. And then release that left hand to the inside of the left foot. Let's spin our way all the way over towards the long right edge of the mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Here the toes will turn in slightly so that the outer edges of the feet are parallel. Upper body folds over as far as feels okay. Head can reach towards the floor, hands planted wherever feels best to you. Yeah, and then we're gonna inhale though, lifting up to hands or fingertips, and we'll spin the right arm up into the sky, take a twist here. And right hand comes back down, same thing with the other side. Left hand will lift up, twisting the upper body so that the chest is facing the left side of the room. And then bring both hands down to the ground. Start to spin forward to the top end of the mat. Drop the right knee, followed by the left knee, child's pose. Press up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, soften the knees and look forward. This time just take your time, lots of little steps, make your way up to the top end of the mat. Separate the feet about hips width apart. Grab for opposite elbows and come into ragdoll so that the whole upper body is really hanging limp and loose. You can sway from side to side or foot to foot. Let the hands release down towards the ground and keep the knees really soft here as you roll up to stand. Just like when we were seated, head will lift up last, shoulders will roll back and down. Find mountain pose, palms forward, eyes closed, standing tall. Open up the eyes, take the feet back to wherever you like them. I always bring my big toes to touch. A lot of people prefer hips distance apart. And then breathe in, arms reach up. Breathe out, left knee to the chest. Left hand to left foot as the left knee drops down. We'll find that quad stretch first, reaching the right arm to the sky. And then again, you can stay here or press that left foot into the left hand as you come forward for dancer pose. So whichever version of that feels best to you. And exhale, squeeze that right knee up, or left knee. Inhale, arms reach up, and exhale, we'll take that left foot just a little step backwards. So much smaller than what we'll do next. Hands can come to heart center, hips point forward, chest and shoulders point forward. Exhale, we're hinging straight forward over top of that right leg. Notice if your hips start to jog over toward the right side, and that's really common, that right foot is forward. Feel like the right hip presses backward while the left hip swings forward. And breathe in, stand tall, reach up. We're gonna go forward again onto that right foot, left knee squeezes up toward the chest. Inhale, arms reach tall. Big step backward this time. Exhale, left foot goes to the back of the mat as the hands reach towards the floor, and then the hips will drop low. So we're in this nice low lunge. Right hand reaches up into the air. Right hand to the inside of that right foot. And we'll walk it over toward the long left side of the mat this time. This time though, we're gonna lift all the way up, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands down to heart center, preparing for horse. So we'll probably walk the feet in a little bit closer toward each other. We're gonna turn the toes outward. Hands can stay at heart center here initially. Let's bend the knees, and then we'll sort of reassess. So we may have to walk the feet out a little further. What we're looking for is knees stacked right on top of heels, and to feel like the knees are pressing out and away actively. Good, so that was just kind of our tester one to get our alignment. Let's inhale, lift back up, give those legs a little bit of a break. Exhale, knees bend, hands through heart center. Take the hands to the thighs. So we'll take a little twist here. As we look over our right shoulder, this left shoulder is going to come forward and we'll look back behind us. Going to come through center. Same thing, right shoulder forward, looking over the left shoulder. Feel like the left shoulder is pulling back behind you. Come through center, spinning the feet forward, hands to the ground. Left knee drops, followed by the right knee, child's pose. And press up. And we'll come either to tabletop or downward facing dog. So either one is okay here. Yeah, I'll go through down dog. And we'll inhale the right leg back. So from tabletop, you can just stretch the leg back behind you, just like we did when we were on all fours, finding that spinal balance earlier. And then we're gonna go into pigeon pose. So as we come into pigeon on this right side, right knee's gonna move near the right wrist. Left foot's gonna go across the mat, right? So the foot's not kicking backwards, it's moving across. And then we'll slide back through this left leg. We want the hips to stay really even. What might happen is you kind of tip over onto this right side. Try and keep the hips really level. Yeah, even if you have to put a block or a folded up blanket underneath this right glute. And then we'll come forward any amount. So maybe you're good where you are. You can come to the elbows, or maybe rest the forehead. Again, if you've got a block handy, you can always take that underneath the head. Take a couple more breaths here, just a few more full rounds of breath. Really let the body sink in on your exhales. On your inhale, press back up onto the hands. Stay here for a moment, just really lift the chest. Keep sinking through the hips. And then we're gonna go back into down dog or tabletop. Take your time to get there and move however you need. So maybe when you make your way to tabletop, you take a few cat-cows, or in down dog, walk it out a little bit, lift a leg, move around. Kind of work out the kinks. And then when you're ready, we'll prepare by lifting through the left leg this time. And we'll take that leg forward for pigeon on this side. So left knee moves near left wrist. Left foot goes across to the right side of the mat. Hips are level. We want that shin as parallel with the short edge, the front edge of the mat as we can. And it may not be anywhere close to that. And that's okay. We're just moving in that direction. So with those level hips, even if we have to support on this left side, we'll come forward and down. Again, take your time. Maybe you just move to the elbows first, if that. Take a few breaths there and sink in slowly. And this side may feel completely different than the other. I know it does on me. So we're not in any hurry. Take your time. Notice while you pause in this posture, if you're kind of fighting off the stretch, if you're tensing up, right, so that the body isn't allowed to go then any deeper. If that's the case for you, and that's really common, maybe try backing out of the pose a little bit. So maybe the hips aren't quite as low, and see how that feels. So wherever it is that we're pausing, we want to try and relax there. And if that's impossible, then we're not gaining those benefits. Back up onto the hands with your next inhale. Same thing here. Hands can stay down as the chest lifts up and the hips sink toward the floor. And same thing again. We'll come to down dog, tabletop, or really anything else, anything that your body is craving. Take little movements as needed. We're going to meet this time down on our backs. Once you're down on your back, rest for a moment with the feet wide, knees tipping together, low back nice and soft. Rest a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly, and take a few breaths. Really feel the breath move through the front of your body as it kind of presses into the hands. Squeeze the knees both up to the chest here. Let's cross the left knee over top of the right knee. Keep squeezing the knees towards the chest. See how that feels for the outer left hip. If you need some more, go ahead and grab for the feet or the ankles, either one, feet flexed. You can squeeze the feet in towards the hips, or you can stretch the feet out to the sides of the room, continuing to pull the knees into the chest. Maybe that left thigh is even resting on the belly. Release your grip if you're holding on, but keep the legs crossed just like this. Extend your left arm outward and drop the knees over to the right side. Right hand can rest on top of the legs. If with the legs crossed like this, it feels just like too much for the low back, you can always uncross the legs and just let the left one lay on top of the right one. Head can be centered or turned to the left side. Bring the knees back into the chest and uncross the legs here. And just give a little squeeze in. Maybe the head even momentarily lifts as the forehead stretches into the knees. And then once it's back down on the ground, crossing right leg over top of left leg. So crossing at the knees as best you can. Pulling inward right as the knees come into the chest. See how that feels for the outer right hip and thigh this time. Maybe this side is enough right here. Again, if you need to go further, grabbing for the feet or the ankles, feet flexed. Heels can reach toward the hips or glutes, or you can stretch out toward the sides of the room. Release the feet, legs stay crossed. This time right arm extends outward to help anchor that shoulder as the knees drop over to the left side. Keeping them crossed or uncrossing as needed. Keep relaxing that right shoulder into the ground. The left one stays down pretty well on its own. Sometimes that right one likes to lift a little bit though. So we'll keep pressing it downward, and sometimes turning the head in that direction helps with that a little bit. Bring the knees back into the chest, uncross. Again here, maybe the head lifts for a moment just to lengthen out through the back body a little bit more and engage the core. Head comes down as well as the feet, and then drop the knees out toward the sides of the room as the soles of the feet come together in Supta Baddha Konasana. Again here, you're welcome to rest one hand on the chest and one hand on the belly and really focus in on the breath. Other great options are to bring the arms to the sides, the palms facing the ceiling so that the shoulders roll back and down and the chest stays open. Or to create even more openness through the front of the body, you can bring the arms above the head, bending at the elbows, letting the elbows drop down towards the ground. And if that feels like a lot on the shoulders, you can take them into more of like a goalpost positioning. As the front body opens, relax the back body. Bring awareness to the breath. And as we head into Shavasana, you're welcome to stay here. Or maybe you lengthen out the limbs as the legs stretch in front of you, or come back to that position where the knees are bent and falling together. You can even find an easy seated pose just as we began, finding more of a seated meditation, closing down the eyes wherever you are. Letting the muscles of the face relax and the shoulders drop and the spine lengthen tall. Finding the support of the ground, whether it's under your seat or beneath your back. And I'll leave you here for your Shavasana today so that you can stay for as long or as little as you would like. I thank you for allowing me to join in your practice today. Namaste.